Hi everyone, welcome to the One Code Camp channel. So in this video, we will discuss data validation in Mongoose for MongoDB. So this will involve setting rules and schema definitions to ensure accurate data storage. The built-in and custom validators prevent wrong data, while the pre-saved hooks offer advanced validation. So this process guarantees data integrity, reduces errors, and boosts up reliability. So let's get started.
Welcome back to One Code Camp. I am Ian and this is part 3 of our Mongoose video tutorial. From the previous videos, we're able to set up a Mongoose on our project and we also was able to execute a few queries. Next is we're going to modify our existing model to kinda implement data validation. Let us start. Data validation is a crucial aspect of maintaining the integrity and also the reliability of the data we stored in our MongoDB databases. Mongoose provides robust tools to ensure that the data we enter into our application adheres to specific rules and constraints so that we can prevent incorrect or incomplete information from being saved. Also, with data validation, it helps us maintain accurate and consistent data, which is essential for the proper functioning of the application that we will be making. By enforcing validation rules, you can prevent invalid data from being stored, and also it helps us reduce the likelihood of errors or any unexpected behavior, which of course we don't want to encounter along the way. Here on our screen is an existing schema that we made for our MongoDB database that is a book database. These are the information that we wanted our model to have whenever we put in or whenever we entered an entry for our database. Now, in Mongoose, you define the validation rules directly within the schema. That's exactly what we are going to do. Now, I also wanted you to know that with validation, we have two types. First, we are going to talk about the built-in validators. Now, one good example of built-in validators is already here on our book.js file on line number 6. You can see in here that we have a line that says required. Now, this means that we're telling our schema that this entry or this schema cannot be saved on our database without the user or without us putting in a title for our book record. It will otherwise throw us an error. Let me go ahead and show to you how it looks like if that scenario happens. So switching to our app.js file, which is basically what establishes the connection to our MongoDB server to this project that we are creating now, we have here a run function. This run function serves like a template for our model whenever we want to save a new record to our book database. Now, we want to intentionally leave the title field blank. So let's move into author. Maybe we can put in William Shakespeare here. I hope I'm spelling that correct. And then for the publication here, let's input it there 1999. For the genre, I want to make this untitled book fiction. And then it can also be, I think, classic. All right, now let's save this file. And then let's run our app.js file. And this is exactly what we want to see. There's a bunch of information in here, but the most important ones are this line. So this right away tells us that there has been a validation error. And if we are going to like below these errors to tell us that it exactly points us to the title field and it's saying that it's required, that's why we are getting the error. There's a way for us to like customize the errors. We are going to talk about that later in this video. But yeah, for now, we are able to determine that required, again, is a validation that will not allow you to save any record in our database if you leave that field blank. So aside from required, we can also add a validation on any numerical field on our schema. Like for example, this publication year, we can add in here. Okay, so if we're going to like expand on a field, we will need to use curly braces. So let me add a curly brace here. Okay, and then we will need to specify what type of information is this. So for the publication year, of course, it's a number. And then aside from the type, we can use min and max. Min, and then we also have max. Now, min and max defines the minimum and maximum value for our publication year. So it's we want to tell our schema that we only accept year or books that were published in year not later than, let's set it to maybe 1800, and not exceeding, let's just say, the current year, 2023. So we'll kind of relax with that. And then let's not forget our comma. We're going to write in another field. Okay. Now we can also add an enum validator. Now this works on arrays. Like for example, here on our genre field, we can specify like the type of genre that we can only accept. So let me put another set of curly brace in here. Small string to another line. And then now we will also need to identify what this string is about. So this is again the type of our genre field. And then down here, we can just write in enum. Now inside the array, you can now identify specific genre that you want our database to accept. So we want to accept fiction. We're also good with non-fiction. Let me replace that to uppercase. And then maybe we can also accept science fiction. You can add any genre that you wanted to add on your end if you're coding along with me. And you can also, I think, accept mystery genres. Those are kind of fun. And then lastly, fantasy. So again, this will help us restrict the types of genre that our database can only accept. So we are good with this. So let's try that again on our app.js file. Let us now add a title. Maybe we can say in here biography, not feeling that creative for information today. Let's add in Ian Lee as an author. And then let's see. Let's make it pass our number validator. So it can be older than 1800. So let's try to make this 1799. 99, we want to see an error for our publication here. Let's leave the genres as is, save the app.js, and then run it again. Okay, so as you can see, let's go back to the first line. Okay, so it throws us this line again, validation error. And then if we are going to go lower, it is now indicating that the specific error that we did on the model is about the minimum value and the maximum value. Then it says here a generic message of book validation failed. Oh, it does gives us a message in here that says the publication year 1799 is less than minimum allowed value. Well, there we have it. Now, you guys want to try the genre as well? We can also do that. So let's make the publication year pass our validator. So let's just make that 1880. And then let's add in here a genre. So let's try to see what's going to happen if it's a fiction, something that it should accept. And then another one that is not included in what we indicated. So I'm making the genre filler. And then see if it will show us another error. And it did. We have that validation error line again. And then it says in here, this line, that the genre as the string failed for value. Okay, type array at type genre. So it's not giving us any value for the message format. It just says undefined. But there we have it. Now we were able to determine that it really needs to meet the requirements for the genre, even though it already meet one of the genres. It should still be alongside or be included on those that we already indicated. Now moving on to the other type of validators aside from the built-in ones, we also have custom validators. Now for custom validators, let me show to you how it looks like. It kind of allows you to create or to write it on your code directly, and then it can help you implement more complex validation logic that is tailored to the project that you're working on. Now back to our book.js file. So if we want to add like maybe a validator that can detect if like the title or that book has been on the database already. Maybe we can like throw an error. Maybe we don't want the same title to be stored on our database. So let's do that. So down here, in our schema, the way we can identify if a title is unique is we're gonna again be using the book schema that we declared. And then now we would like to identify which field do we want to add a custom validator to. So it will be title. And then we will be using the validate method, which is what's going to allow us to start the creation of the customized validator. And then we are now defining an async function that accepts the value or the title that we are trying to pass in. And inside of this function, we are going to declare a variable count. Let's name it count. And then what this variable will do is that on this line, we are calling the constructor of our book method. And then after that, we're using another method which is counted documents, which basically scans through your entire collection and then run a number or monitor the number of a specific value that you want it to be monitored. For our case, we would like to count the value of the title. And then let's put semicolon here. C. And then after the collection has been scanned for the values of the different titles inside it, we would like to return a not count. This means if this returns true, this means that the title that we're trying to enter on the system is unique and it being saved on our database will go through. And then otherwise, if it returns as false, which means that there is definitely a match from the title that we're trying to enter, we would like for it to return this error. So title must be unique. Okay, then let's not forget our semicolon in here. Alright, so that's how we can make a customized validator with Mongoose. So let's try that out. Go back to our app.js file. And then maybe we can change everything in here. But we will be leaving the title as is. So let's use William Shakespeare again. Shakespeare. Okay, let's make this 1886. And then maybe we can add in science fiction. And then what else did we add in there? I think we added, let's go for mystery then. Mystery. Okay. Let us now run this. Oh, now it's giving us another error. Okay, now we can see a message here. Just like what we customized, title must be unique because it definitely found the same title on our database that is already existing in there. So that's how we can create a customized validator in Mongoose. Now, what we are going to talk about next is how to handle these type of errors with customized error messages, because we, of course, doesn't want to run into a lot of these lines of codes whenever we run into some errors, just for us to point at the error right away, for us to know how exactly we can fix it. We're going to define how to customize error messages next. Here on our save method, we just need to add a few more lines. So new book, let's save, and then let's say here that then save book. And then inside of this, just need to move this message that we wanted to display on the console if it has been successfully saved, or if the model went through. But if not, we want to catch that error and then store it into this simplified, way simplified message instead. So instead of console.log, we're using console that error. And then this is the, maybe we can just generically say error saving book. And then of course we want it to be pointed at the direction or the specific information on why it did not push through in saving the record. So let's save this. Let's test our validation error handling. So we already have a validation for multiple title entries, so this will not go through for the title. Okay, let's now try to run it. Let me just clear our terminal. Control L. Let me exit this first and then Control L. Okay, perfect. Okay, as you can see, all those multiple lines of errors is no longer to be seen on our terminal, and it's only providing us with this single line of message. So it detected two errors. The first one is for the genre, as a string failed for value. And then here we go. This is the error that we tried to intentionally put in the system, the title. So it's saying here that the title must be unique. We already have a record of the book with the title autobiography. Now let's see. It should not throw us an error for the genre. Well, let me see. Maybe we have inputted something wrong in there. And we did. Now for the genre, the type, it should not be just a string. So we want the genre to be filled out with an array of string genres. So we need to put an array inside. We need to put the string type inside an array for it to go through. We are testing that again. Control C and then nodeapp.js. Alright, there we have it. I think it did go through with the genre. We are now only showing the title. So let's try to make a unique title. Let me just add here a character, autobiography 1. Save it. And let's run it again. It's not a valid or path of genre. Science fiction is not. Let me take a look. Science fiction. Okay. So it is, as you would notice, case sensitive. So back here in our app.js file, we have a small, the lowercase f. Let's just try to make this in uppercase. Okay, let's save that again. Alright, there we have it. This time, we were able to meet all the requirements and we're able to pass through all the validations that we included on our Mongoose, and the new book has been recorded with this unique title. We also are able to meet the genres that it can only accept, as well as the minimum and maximum publication year. So next, we are going to talk about some middlewares that we use for data validation in Mongoose. We actually have two. First one is the pre-save hook, and then the other one is the pre-validated hook. Let me first adjust the max value to, let's say, 4,000. Here, 4,000. This is just to avoid getting the errors for these built-in validation we have for the max. We wanted to this time show these pre-save validation that we just included. Now, okay, that's looking good. Now back here to our app.js file. Let us, okay, maybe we can, so we want the title to go through, so let's change it to autobiography 2, and then let's put in here, so let's try the year, the current year is 2023, let's try 2024. Okay, now this time we want the error for our pre-save hook to be on our console log. I'm running this. Okay, as you can see, it shows on our console log that we had an error. This is the exact error string that we indicated here on the pre-save hook. Publication year cannot be in the feature. But if we are going to move to have this on a valid date, let's say 2018, again, it should move on to the next validation error if there's any. On our case, we don't have any next validation yet, but it should go through this time. So let me run this node app.js again, and there we have it. It successfully went through auto-generated as a new object ID. All right, and there you have it. Now, let's talk about the other middleware, and that is our pre-validate hook. So pre-save functions are again type of validations that we can use before we actually save the document or right after all of the other validations that we have on our code or on our schema. But with pre-validate hooks, this is like the first kind of validation that will be checked if we are to enter an information. So the pre-validate hook method, we use it to perform validations. Again, just before the Mongoose, all other validations is like the built-in validators or even before our custom validators. So with the pre-validate hook, since we haven't used the author field, let's try to integrate that with our pre-validate. So again, we're just going to start with defining our existing schema, the other validators. So we're going to say in here 3, and then we're going to use the validate keyword. Now this starts the validation for the pre-validated hook that we will be writing. So we will be using another anonymous function that accepts the same next callback function. And then inside our anonymous function, let's define the condition. Now I'm thinking of maybe on the onset of the checking of our entry for each field, we can maybe like check a certain or specific string of author that we don't want to be included on our database. Maybe we can include my name, Ian Lee, as I've been claiming a lot of books to be mine even if it's not. So let's add that up, and then we wanted to have please return an error if our condition happens to be true. So next error. Then let's add here an open and close parentheses. Let's just have it say invalid author. So Ian Lee is blocked from the list of authors we would like this database to record. And then just calling in the next callback function for it to proceed if the condition appears to be false. And then let's save this. Giving us an error. Let me see why it's giving us an error. Expected return next new. Oh, this should be new instead of next. Save this. That goes away now. So let's test that, of course. Let us define the fields in our app.js file. So for author, let me put in here Ian Lee. And then for us to not encounter the error for the title, let's make it autobiography 3. Okay. Saving that file. And let's wait for our console. Okay, we're seeing an error here. For next, for our JS file. So it's giving us an error. Oh, we accidentally put in the semicolon inside the parentheses. So let me just correct that. Save this file again. Then let's try to run app.js one more time. Okay, there we have it. So it's official. Ian Lee is an invalid author and will not be saved to our MongoDB database. That concludes our Mongoose validation topic. We discovered that there are various different ways on how we can validate data using Mongoose. There's a handful of them available depending on your needs or which one you found makes the most sense project-wise. Thank you for sticking around up to this point, and I hope to see you again on the next video. Bye!